All right, so joining us right now is Tara, Madam Money Jackson. And this is, we're right in the middle of the vote on whether or not this stimulus package is going to get approved. I think the Senate passed it unanimously, but it's still stuck. But what will it mean to the average person?
Well, for the average person that has filed their taxes, the 2018, or if they didn't file 2018, 2019, well, if they haven't filed 2019, at least if they filed 2018, they will receive the stimulus. How and when and how quickly, they're saying 3 weeks once it's been approved, but we will wait and see how that's going to do that. But at least it's going to infuse some cash to the people that need it most. If you make 75,000 or less as an individual, you'll get 1,200, and it kind of goes down. It scales down the more you make. So if you make around 98,000, you're kind of getting nothing. And if you're joint filing, you're going to get up to 2,400, all the way down to zero, depending on how much more that you make. So I think the cap is $198,000 for joint filing, but people are going to get something. So it's going to infuse some cash. There's some other benefits as well, as far as being able to tap into your retirement savings account if necessary without penalty, and a few other things definitely for small businesses, as well as bailout for larger businesses or industries that are affected.
Okay. So $1,200 might sound like a lot of money, if it were extra money. But we're talking about people who, in many cases, have lost their jobs. They have no income coming in right now.
Yeah.
So that might feel like a drop in the bucket to many people right now. Am I right?
Yeah, if you make $75,000 a year, that's a portion of one paycheck. So it's not a lot, but they're trying to do something and infuse something. It will help those that make around, 25,000 or less. It's definitely going to be a blessing, but it's better than nothing. So,
Right.
we can thank them for trying to do something, because in the beginning, I don't think they had planned to do anything until the other countries were doing it. So they had to do something.
Right, right. Um, Now, I'm here in New York. I know you're in Delaware, and there's obviously a big difference in what the cost of living in someplace like New York or San Francisco, even Los Angeles, Chicago might be compared to Delaware or some of the smaller states and municipalities. So, is there any kind of an adjustment based on the cost of living in the area where you are, or is this a standard amount?
It's a flat amount. They have not indicated if it's based on where you live. Again, all of the qualifications are relatively unknown right now. We have some basic understanding. We have some assumptions. I've heard some people say that the census is going to be used. Some people say it's not. So until it's passed in the Congress and it starts to be executed is when we'll all really know what the qualifications are. I'm at the ear to it every day to see if there's any changes, but everything changes right now. So until
Right.
it is officially passed, which I'm very strongly confident that it will pass Congress,
Okay.
but it's the execution of it that I'm very concerned about.
Okay, and once again, just to reiterate, you have to have filed your taxes at least for 2018 and maybe even 2019 just to even qualify for this.
That is what it's being said right now. It's not official because it hasn't necessarily been approved in an
Okay.
executed order, but it is saying that it's going to be based on your 2019 taxes. If you didn't file 2019 taxes yet, they're going to look at the 2018, and everything is going to be relatively electronic or checks mailed. They're encouraging people to do the direct deposit because you'll get the money faster.
Okay.
So if you receive your refunds or anything direct deposit, that's how they're going to send the money. The one thing a lot of people are asking is, what if you're on Social Security and you don't file taxes?
Right.
Well, they are going to look at your Social Security statements. They are taken in consideration. So those that do receive Social Security will also benefit from it as well, and it's going to be dispersed how they receive their Social Security.
So everyone should still go online. Do you know what that site is yet, or we don't know yet
I
since it
do not
hasn't
know
been?
that
Okay.
site yet as well. I don't know if they've created it,
Okay.
but it is based on how you're already receiving your payments, or how you're receiving your refunds, if you received refunds, or how you filed your taxes, and if you put
Right.
your banking information. So definitely talk to your tax professional or your tax accountant to make sure that you do have your banking information available to them.
So another question then, if you haven't filed your taxes and they are potentially forgiving that for a little while, would you advise people to go ahead and file their taxes or hold off on their taxes right
Well,
now?
it depends. If you owe, some people want to hold off on that. But if you are able to file your taxes, file them as soon as possible. Just because they've extended the due date doesn't mean that you can't or you shouldn't file taxes. So they've just given you a longer period of time to file the taxes. But if you are able to file your taxes as soon as possible, that would be beneficial to you.
Okay, got it. And you mentioned something earlier, and I want to get into some tips in a few minutes, but there were a lot of people that have been asking about banks. Are banks secure right now? Should you be putting your money in the bank? Should you go and take all your money out of the bank? Because this is really a world pandemic, and it could be a worldwide depression or recession if things continue down this path.
Yeah, don't take all your money out of the banks. That's not necessary. If you have all your cash with you, God forbid something happens, you have no recourse.
Right.
Banks and credit unions are federally insured. Banks are federally insured up to $250,000 with the FDIC. Credit unions are federally insured up to $250,000 with NCUA. So they have government entities that are insuring up to $250,000 per person up for deposit. So God forbid if something happens, if the bank goes under or whatever, if you have up to $250,000, you're insured, your money is protected. So
Okay.
there's no need to have a panic and withdrawal of the funds. The
Right.
withdrawal of the funds is what's going to hurt the financial institutions.
Okay.
So the financial institutions are very significant. They are one of the significant organizations that have to remain open because people need access to their money. We need to do
Okay.
transactions even if we don't have cash. We need to use our credit cards, our debit cards. We need to transfer cash to family members. So they provide a valuable resource, especially virtually right now,
Okay.
utilizing their home banking or their mobile app features.
Got it. Okay, that's good advice. So, because I was ready to go back to the good old days, but back in the
Put it
day,
under the mattress.
they kept a loaded gun and the money under the mattress. That's right.
Yeah, yeah. We got the loaded gun. I'm keeping the money in the bank though.
Right. I love it. Let's get into some tips, Tara. What are you telling people right now? What are the top 5 things that I should be concerned about and that I should be doing starting today?
Starting today, I say the top 5 financial things to do while you're quarantined, but this
Right.
can happen anytime. So
Okay.
even after the quarantine, I need us to really pay attention to these 5 simple things.
Okay.
One, reevaluate your subscriptions. I talked about this before.
Yes.
Stop all those monthly small subscriptions that are coming out. Reevaluate their value. Is it something that's required for you? Like you have to have it or something's going to turn off that you really need? Is it necessary? Do you really need that subscription to that news or to that makeup or to whatever? Is it something that you can pause for right now? A lot of small businesses have subscription for things for their businesses, but because of what's going on, they're not really using it right now. So if that's $99 a month, that's $1,200 a year. Pause it. And then if you need to use it again, you can re-up it at that time.
Okay.
The second tip is reevaluate or review your credit reports. You have nothing else better to do. Now it's time to really look at what people are saying on your credit report because that's your financial reputation. I call it the financial Facebook. Okay.
Mhm.
So everything you're doing with them, they are putting your business out on those financial reports. So review Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. You can get free copies of your credit report at least once a year through annualcreditreport.com. Again,
Okay.
annualcreditreport.com. You can get at least one free credit report. In some states, you have up to 2 free credit reports. So
Okay.
get them, even if you can't really read them, and they're really user friendly now for the consumer
Mhm.
views. Look and make sure that the information is correct. If the information is not correct, then you want to dispute it. And again, they have tutorials. Every credit bureau has some type of free resource that you can figure out how to review your credit report.
Okay.
The third one is adjust your spending plan. For us spenders, we hate budgets, so I call it a spending plan. For
Right.
you savers, you like the word budget, so it's a budget. But the thing that most people fail to do is to document all of their savings, short term and long term. A lot of people say, I don't have a lot of savings or I don't have savings, but you have a 401k. You
Mhm.
may have a brokerage account. You may have started with Acorns. You know, there's certain apps that you may have started, but find all of your deposits, all of your savings account, and assess what you have so that if you need to use it for emergencies or that you need to hold on to it for your future self. My future self, her name is Juanita. Juanita likes to travel, so I'm saving for her.
Okay.
Okay. You want to document all of your income, everything that's coming in. You know, I don't care if it's a penny up to $1 million. You want to document everything that's coming in and then document everything that's going out.
Okay.
Again, from a penny to $1 million, everything, whether you spend it with cash,
Mhm.
debit card, whatever. And then you want to do that math. Everything that's coming in minus everything that's going out, you're either going to have a positive, break even, or a negative number. Now, if you
Okay.
have a negative number, now it's time to readjust some expenses. And if
Okay.
you can't readjust the expenses, then it's time to make some more money. It's really simple math.
Right. Right.
So that's neat. They have great apps that you can do. I use mint.com. I love mint.com because it connects to all of your financial institutions and your transactions and gives you pretty graphs and create a debt elimination plan. A lot of us are in debt. Now it's time to strategize on how we're going to debtize it.
Right.
Pun intended. So we want to eliminate that debt. So you want to map out all of your debts, document all the debts, the payments, the frequency of the payments, interest rates, the balances of those, and then you want to categorize them. I do it from largest to smallest, and I work on the smallest and then go up to the largest. That's called the snowball effect. Some
Okay.
people want to pay off the largest interest rates. Some people want to tackle the largest balance. Whichever makes you happy, work
Okay.
on it and start building that strategy now. So when you're able to start executing it, you already have a plan in place. Also, avoid getting new debt. I know it's tempting right now, and avoid co signing. I know that you may want to help a family member, but that's going to add
Okay.
on to your debt if they're unable to pay it. So avoid those two things. The last step is practice building new wealth building strategies. Practice those wealth building strategies now. Eat
Okay.
out less. I know we've been tempted, but now we're kind of forced that we can't go out and eat as much. Figure out how much you're saving there, where that can go towards paying off debt or adding to your savings. Buy store brand or generic products. They taste the same. We're just paying for the label. So we may want to try that. I mean, there are a few name brands that I refuse to
Right. Me
not
too.
do. But for the most part, name brand or store brands are really, really good and they're more cost effective. You want
Okay.
to search for sales. You find something that you like, you want to go and Google it or Amazon or eBay and see if you can find something. Everything's digital right now. So
Right.
everybody's providing sales. Use coupons. If you've never used coupons before, maybe this is the time to really look at opportunities to use coupons on things that you normally buy. And that can
Right.
save you some money as well. And then the last thing is negotiate lower prices. Contact your utilities company, like your cell phone bill or your insurance, and try to negotiate lower prices or try to find other organizations that can provide the same service for maybe a less
I
cost.
didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah,
Uh,
even with your credit cards, depending on, how well you are paying with your credit cards, they
Yeah.
have a retention department. So you want to see if they have a lower interest rate or if
Sure.
they have anything to keep you as a member if you're a good standing customer.
Okay. I mean, these are amazing tips. And I think right now you're right. People are home. So it's a great time to dive into your finances and own your finances, which a lot of us don't do. Some of us just kind of spend and we're like, okay, I don't have any money left, so I won't spend anymore. But that's no way to live.
Yeah, and a lot of people practice the art of avoidance. And so, I'll just spend and not really look at what I'm doing. But this is the time to really look at it because you'll find that you're maybe not as bad off as you think you are,
Right.
or you could be
Or
worse than
you're
you really
worse.
assume
Right.
you are. And
Yeah.
so now you have an opportunity to pivot and make some changes.
Right.
And I think this is a global timeout, so it's giving everyone an opportunity to sit, think about what we've done, and then how we're going to do better. This
Right.
is that
Right.
great opportunity.
Well, I tell you, Madam Money, the House just passed in the middle of our conversation this historic $2 trillion stimulus bill. despite objections from a GOP lawmaker. So it looks like it's going to happen. I guess it still has to get signed off on, but it looks like it's going to happen. So promise you'll come back. I know you probably need to dive into it first before you can really explain.
Yeah. I turn my phone off for you. So as soon as I turn it on, it's going to probably
You're
pop
going to
up
get
everywhere.
big.
And so it's off to the president to sign. And then once that is signed, that's when everything will come into play and they will frantically try to figure out how to execute it. Lawmakers are good at saying, this is what we're going to do, and leave it to everybody else to figure out how to do it. And they're not giving those people a lot of time to figure it out. So hopefully they have some things in place, or they've been thinking about this sooner than later, so that we can get it out based on what have been promised.
Well, I just want to make sure that people who are watching get the ball in motion by following all your tips, because if this money is available and you don't know how to go get it, or you're not positioned to take advantage of it, then it's not going to help you.
Yeah, if you haven't filed your taxes, I mean, that's probably one of the biggest ones,
Right.
because it's based on single versus joint filings. So, and that's how they're deciding how much money people are going to get. That's the first thing you want to do. You want to at least file 2019 taxes or 2018 taxes.
Okay. Got it. All right. Well, Tara, thank you so much. Again, I want to remind people how to find you.
Find me at madamoney.com, MADAMMONEY.com, or all of my social medias, Ms. Madam Money, MSMADAMMONEY.
Okay. And do you do private independent consulting with people if they want to put this play into practice or
I do.
practice it?
I do
Okay.
some individual financial coaching. Not a lot, because well, I was going to say I travel a great deal, not anymore. So
Right.
I have an opportunity to really touch base with people, especially on my social media pages. If you look for me on Facebook, I have several groups that I share advice, and I share advice on my page as well. So feel free to join me on social media.
I think we should start doing, everyone's doing these Zoom meetings right now, having cocktails. I think we should be doing some Zoom meetings once a week with like financial, get your finances.
Yeah, since I can't go out and have my cocktail, I'm doing coffee. So,
Cheers.
this is my cocktail of choice right now. But yeah, that would probably be great to do that. I do help small business owners. I have an organization called Dualpreneur, and that is for people who have full-time or part-time jobs who are also entrepreneurs. And right now, a lot of them are out of work because their jobs are shut down. So they're heavily reliant on their entrepreneurial ventures. And so I'm doing my best to provide as much information to them so that they can stay in business. We're even encouraging them to shop within the community to
Right.
keep, and I have hashtag keep a dualpreneur in business,
Mhm.
because instead of me going to the major corporations, I'll ask the group, is there anyone that can provide this or do this? And I'll pay for them to do it or use their
Right.
services to do it, because it's very relevant. I don't care what size. If you're a small business owner or an entrepreneur and you have a full-time job, that's called multiple streams of income.
Yes, of course.
We
Right.
need multiple streams of income because we have multiple streams of bills. And
Right.
people are realizing that if you only have a river of income and that river dries up, whether it's because of a pandemic or a loss of job, you can't pay those multiple streams of bills. So we have to have multiple sources of income coming in.
Right. Wonderful. And yeah, wonderful. Well said. Okay. Thank you. So we'll check back in after you've had a chance to review this. Maybe we'll dive in next week so that we can tell people how to take advantage of this money.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much, Tara. Have a great
My
day
pleasure.
and stay healthy.
You too.
Bye bye.